Welcome to the Mental Wealth Podcast, a place where you can find all things related to mental health, especially for men. I think it's not talked about enough, so we're going to change that. With that said, let's get started. Today's topic is really juicy. It is about boundaries. Yes, boundaries. And obviously, there's different kinds of boundaries with ourselves, boundaries with other people, and that's what we're going to be talking about, boundaries with other people, because I feel like it's really important to set the right expectations and the right limits whenever we're dealing with people, especially the close ones, because those are the ones that have the most impact on our lives. So some people think, oh, like he's so close or she's so close, they don't need to have a lot of boundaries with them. But that's extremely dangerous because those people are often the ones that could cause the most damage, if you will, but also bring us the most happiness. That's why it's important to set the right limits from the start. That way, no one gets mad at the end. So, why don't we start with a quick definition of what boundaries really are regarding people here. So, boundaries are basically ways to protect our emotional, mental, physical, and time-related resources. With that said, not everyone is going to have the same attention that we have because our attention is limited, our time is limited, and so on and so forth. That's why it's important to set boundaries. Also, it's not just about the fact that it is limited. Yes, our time is limited here on Earth, but also some people are just not worth our attention altogether. And that is because either they're not the best influence for us or they're just downright toxic. And that's why it's important to set these boundaries from the beginning to let people know how it's okay to treat us and how it's not okay to treat us. Set these limits and expectations from the beginning. And there will be repercussions if they are crossed. These are red lines. And that's why I feel like this video is really important, and I could, hopefully it will bring a lot of value into your life. A few important things for why boundaries really matter. We said that, it's a relationship between us and other people, and that's why, okay, we need to set these boundaries to make sure that we are respected, that our needs are met, and that no one crosses these boundaries. And if that doesn't happen, our self-respect will suffer, our mental health will suffer, our physical, emotional health will suffer. So that's why it's important to keep it in mind and keep it at the forefront of our priorities. On the other hand, if we set the right boundaries and we set the right expectations from the beginning and we stand up for those boundaries if they're crossed, then we just feel a lot more confident in ourselves, a lot more at peace with ourselves. These things, when someone crosses these boundaries, you stand up for yourself and you defend yourself and your territory, not in an aggressive way, but in an assertive way, in a way that lets people know, hey, I respect myself and I'm not going to let you treat me like that. So when you set these boundaries, it just creates an image for yourself and for other people that, hey, this is a person that respects and loves themselves, and that's how we're going to treat them. Now, this is all great, but we all know that setting boundaries can be very uncomfortable at times. Sometimes we can feel guilty about saying no to things, and sometimes we just feel like an obligation to do what people say or to please them just because they're close to us, or there's like a cultural expectation or a family expectation. With that said, yes, setting boundaries is difficult. Setting boundaries is not easy, and setting boundaries nonetheless is still worth it, because if we do things that are against what we really want, our self-esteem will suffer, and our self-esteem and our psyche will register that. So we just need to keep in mind that, yes, it might not be easy, but it is worth it. So yes, you might feel guilty sometimes that, hey, I don't want to say no to us hanging out, but I know maybe I gotta study or maybe I gotta go to work. Yeah, it's important to set these boundaries. It's important to be like, hey, I'm sorry, this is not what's best for me right now. And I learned it from a YouTuber. I gotta link his videos down below, but he's really useful in that sense. And he's like, that's not what's best for me right now. And you, and only you, can know what's best for you right now. So I feel like that's a really good comeback. Like, hey, do you want to hang out? No. Why? It's not what's best for me right now. And this is a good topic to touch on while we're at it. Avoid over-explaining. Over explaining can diminish your self esteem and diminish your value in front of people. You don't have to explain, you don't owe anybody an explanation. If they ask, you can tell them why if you feel like it, or you can just be like, hey, this is not what I'm prioritizing right now. This is not what's best for me right now. And that's okay. That's okay. I know personally from my own culture that there is a huge emphasis on family and just being and spending a lot of time with the family. And this is all great, but sometimes it could just take a crap load of time, if you will. So I know one big boundary for me personally is that my time in the morning, first 5 or 6 hours, are sacred, which means no phone calls, no texts. I try not to answer anything until I actually like get like the most important thing done in the day. So you need to let people know what your boundaries are, what you can tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate, and there will be consequences if these red lines are crossed. For example, if I know some people think it's like funny to make fun of other people, like their friends or something like that, but there will be a time where it's not appropriate, and this is the time when you will not laugh at a tasteless joke and you will let them know this is not okay. And if that behavior keeps repeating, then simply walk away. Don't spend any more time with them because these people are not respecting your boundaries and therefore not respecting who you are. So it's better to find better people to spend your time with because your time is valuable. And I've heard this before, I don't know where, but it's a really good quote and I gotta share it with you guys. It says, it's better to be alone than to be with bad company. And I could not agree with this more. It's better to respect your own time, your own values, your own limits, and be alone with yourself until you find the better people to hang out with, then hang out with people who are not good for you. Another point I really wanted to mention is consistency. Consistency is huge when it comes to boundaries because if people are used to you doing things a certain way and then you change all of a sudden and you start setting boundaries, they're not going to change how they treat you all of a sudden. They think, oh, this is just a fluke or he's having a bad day or something. But the trick here is consistency. Just consistent protection of your own boundaries will help you and set the new standard, a new bar for other people and how they treat you. So stick with it. Consistency is key. That's what I can say here. If you stick with it and you keep going and you protect your boundaries one time and another and another and another, they're going to be like, oh, okay, this is the new him and that's how we're going to have to deal with it. So another important distinction that I wanted to make is the difference between passive, aggressive, and assertive. And I feel like assertive is the middle ground here. So passive is like, oh, someone asks you to hang out and you really don't want to, you have a lot of things to do, but then you're like, oh, it's okay, we'll hang out, we'll make time, I'll make it work. When you're busy is like when you're busy and your schedule is already packed. So that's I would say passive. And then aggressive is like, no, I don't want to do it. You're you're a jerk. I don't even like spending time with you. And you don't even have to do all of that. So the middle ground would be like, sorry, I don't have a lot of time right now. I would love to schedule a time later if you actually want to hang out with that person. If not, be like, hey, sorry, I'm busy right now and I have a lot of things on my plate. And that's okay. You don't have to schedule another time if you don't want to be with that person. If you do, and you think they're a good person and you genuinely want to hang out with them, then maybe you can schedule a time for another day. But I just wanted to make that distinction because some people can go from one end of the spectrum to the other, and it's just not a good look. So, passive, assertive, aggressive, you don't want to be on either end of this, the extremes. You want to be in the middle. Assertive, confident, and respectful. Another boundary that I really want to cover, and I feel like is very vital for this day and age, is regarding cell phones and technology. Because I feel like people nowadays, since they have the ability to access you at any time of the day, they think it's okay to send messages, whether it's work or relationships, whatever it might be. You need time to detach. You need time to be like, hey, this is my time. I don't need more screen time right now because the screen time is already up high, and maybe I just need time to meditate or to do my night routine or whatever it may be. So don't feel bad for putting your phone on do not disturb and be like, hey, that's just my time to do my thing, and I'm not available 24/7. And it's funny because paradoxically, the lack of access that people have to you will subconsciously send them a signal that, hey, this person's time is valuable and maybe I should appreciate that and treat the interactions that they have with you in a better way, with more respect. And they start valuing your time more because you're sending that signal to them, hey, I'm not available 24/7. I'm only available from this window to this window. Feel free to call me or text me if you can at that time. If not, I'm just going to be available next week or whenever. But you're not available 24/7 for people because you're a person that deserves rest and deserves their own space to detach and to recuperate from the chaos of the world. So just keep that in mind. You're not always available for other people. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the relationships that we have with the people closest to us can bring us the most joy, but it could also bring us the most pain if we're not careful about it and we don't set the right boundaries. With that said, there's a really simple technique and anyone can do it. It's not easy, but it's worth it. If someone crosses a boundary and you feel uncomfortable, just be like, hey, what was that? Or and if they keep repeating that and basically disrespecting you, just be like, no. If they keep repeating that and they disrespect you, just be like, no, no, you're not going to treat me like that. That's it. Simple, concise, and worth it. No, you're not going to treat me like that. So it's really important. It sounds very simple, but if you let people know, even though it's uncomfortable, that it's not okay to treat you like that or to say those things or to call names or whatever garbage they may throw your way, they will know that you are a person of high value. And not only that, if they keep doing that, then simply stop associating with them. This is really important. I know it's uncomfortable. I know a lot of people are not okay with conflict and not comfortable with conflict, but conflict sometimes is important, vital, and crucial for your own self-respect, for your own sake. So try that technique and let me know in the comments below if you like it. Another important boundary that I wanted to mention is counterintuitive or a bit different to what we have talked about, which is boundaries with other people. It's, I would say, boundaries that you have with yourself. Now, this is important because, for example, I'm a student and obviously I need to study to pass my exams and to do well in school. But there comes a point where it's like too much and there's a lot more studying to come, but at the same time, you need to prioritize your health. You need to prioritize your sleep, your eating, going to the gym, or at least moving. So with that said, before you are a student, before you are a worker, before you are a family member, before you are anything, you're a human and you need to take care of your health. And this is where setting boundaries with yourself comes into play. Make sure that you're putting yourself first and it comes to your health, whether it's mental or physical. This is why this channel is up here. So I want you to remember that because I feel like sometimes we just get so caught up with the race of life and we just forget to eat or sleep or take care of our like basic needs. And this is important. I'm not just mentioning this because it's simple or obviously yet. Like, yes, we need to take care of our health, but because so many people are neglecting those areas. And sometimes I fall into that trap too. And that's, we're human, but at the same time, we need to refocus and remember to set boundaries with ourselves and remember that our health comes first. Generosity has been proven to improve mental health, emotional health, maybe even help you win the Super Bowl. With that said, make sure you are being generous today, and the best way to do it is to click that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend. Thanks. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you do like it, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, share it with a friend, and you never know, they might actually need it. So thank you so much for watching again. All the love, stay grounded. See you in the next time.